Go with the
All
intro.
right. I'm gonna let Buckland get his glasses on.
So disorganised. Jesus Christ.
God, let me yawn, yeah?
Yeah. Let him yawn.
Right.
Buckland Lives Matter. ELMS. Buckland Lives Matter.
Hi there. Welcome to the Three Men, One Hun. What? Yeah, I've already got it wrong. Look at that. Look at that. I was about to say the Three Men, One Hun podcast. It's not, is it? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Three Men, One Hun for the next episode of the Talk in the Pits podcast. We're a bunch of motorsport enthusiasts who just love talking about all things racing, anything on 2 or 4 wheels. We'll talk about it. This week, we're talking about the MotoGP at Le Mans, the European Le Mans Series at Red Bull Ring, and the Indycar at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Today, I'm joined by James.
Hi.
Rob.
Hi.
And Naomi.
I didn't hear that.
What on earth was that? I thought you were doing the thing.
Oh, we didn't hear it.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah, that's what it sounded like. It's like a creature. Just to clarify, unfortunately, Naomi can't be with us this evening, but as always...
So don't ask in the comments.
Don't. Please don't. So, first of all, European Le Mans Series at the Red Bull Ring. James, talk us through, because you watched this religiously. You know a lot more about it.
Oh, not religiously, but I do watch it more than you lot.
They don't have to know that.
Yeah. So it's the second round of the season, and they're going to race at they raced at the Red Bull Ring, which is where Formula One and MotoGP obviously host their Austrian Grand Prix. Team WRT came in as championship leaders with Robert Kubica, Louis Deletraz, and Ye. I think I'm getting better at pronouncing that name.
Sounds about right. Yeah, it sounds good.
Hey.
But one thing I want to talk about before we talk about the race is Logan Sargent, an F3 driver who was in the fight for the championship last year. He's struggling to get a drive this year. He made his sports car racing debut and put it on pole.
Jesus Christ. His
He
first
put
go.
it on pole. Yes. He qualified on pole. It's his first ever sports car race, and he qualified on pole position.
Flipping hell, I think he might have found his niche already then. Has no easy feat.
The thing is, he wasn't only on overall pole, he was also on Pro-Am pole as well.
In the LMP2 category, am I right?
In the LMP2 category, yes. So
Madman.
Not bad.
No,
so
not
he
bad
got
at all.
So he got pole on the Pro-Am category and pole on the overall LMP2 grid. So that was amazing. I also want to say the Iron Danes crew. I can't remember who was on pole on GTE, but they're made up of all 3 girls, and they qualified on the front row.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow, that's good.
So showing the boys how it's done.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Take that.
What?
What was that?
Take that.
I thought you said say Naomi.
Yeah, she's a girl.
Yeah. Is she? I thought she was a man.
Easy mistake to make.
Debatable.
She can't even back herself up this time. So.
No.
What was that, Naomi? Oh, wait.
Just bullying now. Well, it's what you lot do to me, so it makes a nice change.
Oh, don't worry, Kim. We'll find a way to bully you.
Oh, I
Don't worry, your
guarantee.
time will come.
Yeah, your time will come.
It's my first time watching it properly, to be honest, and I didn't quite realise just how big the grid was compared to like WEC, for example. It's crazy. You got LMP2, LMP3, and the GTEs, and it's massive.
I know. It's because it's mainly an AM-focused series. So each basically in WC in the hypercar category and the GTE Pro category, it's mainly in their pro lineups. ELMS, there's no all pro lineups. There is at least one. Well, in case of in case of the LMP2 category, there's got to be at least one silver driver and 2 pros, or one bronze driver and 2 pros for the Pro-Am category.
So it's in the regulations that they have to have a split of experience to make it more accessible, I guess.
Yeah, you could choose to run your lineup of all silvers or whatever, but you've got to have at least one bronze or one silver driver, and usually that bronze or silver driver is paying for the whole car.
Yeah.
In the GT category, you've got to have at least one bronze, one silver. You're only allowed one pro in the GTE category, and I'm not really sure about the rules on LMP3 because it's not not the category I tend to follow, if I'm honest. But it's still a great category.
Just a bunch of rolling chicanes for the LMP2 cars, right?
Well, that's the thing. While I watch it, I absolutely love the speed difference of the faster cars coming through.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, like
And
there's
you've got
the LMP2s against the GTEs as well. It's just insane.
and the LMP3s as well. And it's not like you haven't got it's not like you don't have big names. You have Robert Kubica, current Alfa Romeo reserve driver, and of course a Grand Prix race winner. He's competing in it with Louis Deletraz, who was in Formula 2 last year, is his teammate. And you've also got the likes of you also, this is what I find amazing. In G Drive, there's a young 17-year-old called Franco Colapinto, and he's fighting. Yeah, he was fighting for like the overall victory until he got overtaken, which we'll talk about in a minute. And he's also doing the dual campaign with Formula Regional Europe.
Got a busy calendar then.
Yeah. Also, what I think makes the European Le Mans Series grid much bigger is that it's cheaper than the World Endurance Championship because it's based in Europe rather than having some in Europe and then going off to the 2 places that outside Europe. And also, it's AM friendly, so they're willing to spend their money more because they can win the races. Also, if you win in LMP2, you get an invite to Le Mans to race in LMP2 at Le Mans. If you get first in LMP3, you get an invite to race at Le Mans. And if you finish first or second in GTE, you get an invite to Le Mans.
There's a lot of incentive to perform, and it is a really competitive grid by the looks of it. I know there's some standout names, of course, but it's such a big grid, you just don't quite know what's going to happen, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think there are 16 LMP2 cars alone. I think WEC only has like about I think it had like about 10 in the WEC. GTE grid, I think, it's got 9, and the rest are made of LMP3 cars. So it's a big, diverse grid, as well as amazing driver lineups as well. So which an AM can fight directly for an outright victory or a class victory. So it's pretty It's a pretty good series in my opinion. It's definitely my favourite.
Yeah, and the mix of strategies in terms of driver swaps certainly gives an opportunity for some great racing. So you'll have a team that's out in front because they got the pro driver and you swap them over, and the team behind puts their pro driver in and starts to catch up or something. It just has that dynamic that similar to WEC, but there's more cars, more obstacles, better racing in my opinion. I'm surprised it's not more popular, to be honest, because it was some spectacle just to watch the highlights, to be honest. It's overtaken all over the place, particularly from United Autosports, who started having a duel of their own at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's certainly something that I wish more people knew about, because everyone looks to WEC, they look at IMSA, and they're great series, don't get me wrong, but in my opinion, European Le Mans Series is the best multi-class sports car racing series. So,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, did any of you see that big... When it rained down and all the cars just started going off?
Crazy. Yeah.
Honestly, I had no words. I was watching it at the time, and I had to try not to react because I was with someone who didn't want to know that what was going on, and I was like, "Oh my god!" But I couldn't say it.
There's cars aquaplaning all over the place, particularly the higher downforce cars, the LMP2s and 3s. I think they're just struggling to get any kind of purchase in what was basically flooded conditions at one point.
Well, they were still on slicks, some of them.
Oh, that's right, they were. It came so quickly, they didn't even get into the pits, did they?
I think it just literally skipped the intermediate phase and just went straight to wet. Imagine that in F1.
I know, that we did. Remember Canada 2011? It was like,
gosh,
it was like whiteout.
Crazy.
You just couldn't see anything.
I mean,
it was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we haven't had that in pretty much a decade now.
It's been a long time since we had biblical rain like that, and that's what they had at Red Bull Ring.
Yeah.
But you say we had multiple cars off at, I think it's turn 7, they were all struggling. I think they were just hitting the brakes and just getting nothing at all, and just straight off, skating off into the gravel.
I think I counted that 10 or 11 that went off at one point.
God.
Another good F1 example, Nürburgring 2007, where all the cars just started sliding off.
Down turn 1, it's downhill as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
They had obviously the safety car came out, and that was out for a good 30 minutes, because from the highlights I saw, it jumped from about an hour and 27 to go to about 58 minutes to go, and the safety car was only just coming in. So I'm guessing it was out for that whole time. They didn't bother to red flag it, so they thought, it's fine, we need the cars out there to clear the water, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, because it's a 4-hour race, if you red flag it, the time still counts down. So if the cars are safe, they may as well just carry on underneath the safety car.
Yeah.
So at the very end, Louis Deletraz, who fresh out of Formula 2, overtook Franco Colapinto at 17 years old for the lead of the Red Bull Ring, and he took the checkered flag, and Team WRT won their second race of the season. They won both races because it's only round 2. So, Robert Kubica, Ye, I think, and Louis Deletraz are your championship leaders, and I'm sure the whole of Poland is quite happy right now because Robert Kubica is leading a championship.
It's like that England celebration in Hyde Park. As scenes in Poland after that result.
To our Polish viewers, we're very sorry.
I'm not.
But we're very happy for you that Robert Kubica won. I'm very happy because WRT is my favourite team anyway. So I'm quite happy.
So he's not biased or anything that they've won the first 2 rounds. Definitely not. No.
No, I'm not biased. I just wish Robin Frimes was driving it instead of, because he drives in their WEC lineup. I wish he was driving in their ELMS lineup as well.
He's a busy man as it is. Double podium for G-Drive as well, wasn't it? So they had an amazing result.
Well, I believe the 25G Drive won in Pro-Am class, and former Formula 1 driver Roberto Merry-Go-Round was on the podium, and he won it. Sorry.
That's great.
I like Roberto Merry, but everyone called him Roberto Merry-Go-Round when he was in F1.
Can't imagine why.
But yeah, he and his teammates won the Pro-Am category and overall podium. I have to say, though, the LMP3 battle was quite amazing. So, in LMP3, the gap was just like 0.7 of a second, which was pretty good. The number 19 cool racing car from Switzerland won that, which was pretty awesome. And they won the first 2 rounds of the season as well as the WRT. So, that's interesting. And in GTE, the number 88 AF Course Ferrari won. Also, I just want to say, Mike, did you know that Irish-German actor Michael Fassbender also races in the European Le Mans Series?
Nice. I heard
You've heard of
sports car racing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the European Le Mans Series, which is pretty cool.
With the Porsches?
Yeah, the Proton competition Porsches.
I got bored of acting then.
Wow, good move, I'd say.
Surprised after the last X-Men movie.
Now, I'm sure he'll carry on. I think this is just a fun thing for him to do on the side.
What a thing to do on the side.
Imagine
I know, being
sport is your thing on the side.
Being an actor and a racer.
Bored, I'm going to do a bit of motorsport on the side, I think. I'll do this little Le Mans series, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, being an actor and a racing driver is just like my dream job, so he's living the best life.
Just ask him for tips.
I will, and a couple of million. Right then, and that concludes today's European Le Mans Series segment.
Now we move on to MotoGP at Le Mans, and we had the 2 Monster Energy Yamahas up at the front row. Quartararo on pole, but it was Jack Miller that got the best start, showing that Ducati pace.
Oh, those Ducatis are good off the start. Also, just to say,
my wheel came alive. What the fuck? What the hell was that? I need to unplug it. That was weird. It just like calibrated. That was scary.
Well, I don't have a drill, but...
Oh, I don't want you to left that age. I'll put mine on.
Oh my god, he's brought a screwdriver. Oh, we're screwed.
Sorry about that. I've got toolboxes in here because in the minute I'm doing I'm putting up shit from IKEA in my room. So that's why I've got a screwdriver in my room.
That's definitely why it's there.
I've got a tape measure in mine somewhere. So.
Oh, nice.
Can't imagine what that's for. Measuring for some furniture or just feeling a little bit, paranoid?
I'm creating a man cave in here.
That's what she said.
Nice. You are absolutely
You fucking
quack,
broke it. Fucking broke his tape measure.
What?
He broke his tape measure. We get back on track.
I think we should. No pun intended.
Very good. Very good. It wasn't long after the start that we had the rain finally starting to come down.
It was pretty much like the European Le Mans series. It just suddenly got wet out there.
There wasn't much difference between the two, was there? So childish.
Well, the thing is, in the MotoGP race, it started off dry, then it got a bit wet, and then it went dry again. Yeah, I mean, you've got
It was
to
the opposite of BTCC.
Yeah, you've got to love changeable conditions. It certainly makes it a lot more harder, and it's certainly a lot more interesting. I mean, if one wrong move and you're just sliding out.
It was catching out a lot of experienced riders, I must say.
It really was. It even caught Valentino Rossi and Marquez out.
Yeah, Marquez of all people. He was looking like a favourite. He was furious when he came back in the pits, though. Bless him.
So basically, it was the first flag to flag race in 4 years. You fucking knob. It was the first flag to flag race in 4 years. So basically, just to explain what flag to flag means, it's basically when...
Why are you talking over him?
Bucko talked over me.
The flag to flag race.
Yeah, Kieran, explain what flag to flag means.
It means when they've got to swap bikes because there's a change of conditions.
Oh, well done.
Oh, okay. How long have you known that for?
How long have you known that for, Kieran?
Yeah. Just like
8 minutes.
At least you admit to it.
That's cool.
I'm humble.
So yeah, they pitted, and Marquez took the lead, and Rins just binned it coming straight out the pit lane.
That's your new bike. That's the one with the good tyres on it. The tyres you need, and you still slip up. That just shows how difficult the conditions were, I think.
Yeah. To be fair, a few laps later it caught Marquez out, so it kind of shows just how difficult the conditions were out there. And then what I find crazy is that Jack Miller had two long lap penalties. So you basically run wide, similar to what Formula E does with attack mode, and then you come back on the track and you're expected to lose position. He had 2 long lap penalties for speeding in the pit lane, which is a bit crazy.
Don't remind me of Rallycross Joker lap, to be honest. That's what it seemed like. We're doing the extra distance.
After the 2 long lap penalties, he took the lead.
Yeah, it didn't phase him at all.
It didn't phase him at all. And then just as he overtook, Fabio Quartararo got a long lap penalty for jumping on the wrong bike. He jumped on his teammate's bike.
That's right, he came in the wrong garage, didn't he? Or did he? Because he got on the wrong bike. So they must have got confused and said, no, you're on the wrong garage, and realised, no, you're actually in the right one. Because surely you should recognise his number on the bike. I don't know.
Yeah, but to be fair, he is coming from the back. He's coming from behind. He's jumping on from behind.
It doesn't sound any better.
You won't see the number from the front.
Well, yeah, exactly. Not looking for that, are you? You're just looking for the bike that vaguely looks like yours. So Miller just drove off into the lead at that point. It was basically a done deal, to be honest.
It really was.
Was it Zarco that was showing some really good pace towards the end as well?
Yeah, Zarco was amazing. Like, honestly, he was like driving like it was still wet because he had the pace and everything, and the others started dropping off. It wasn't enough to catch Jack Miller, who went on to take his 2nd win in a row, but Zarco did well. I'm surprised nobody at the back tried to pit again for dries, because I reckon if they'd done that, they would have won. It was like the 10 lap. Yeah, I think like the last 10 laps were basically dry. You probably would have lost some time at the start, but towards the end, you would have been like 10, 11, whatever seconds a lap faster. I think they could have won, but hey, I'm not a rider, so I don't know what I'm doing.
Even worth throwing the dice, but
yeah, if you're a back marker, I mean, I can understand why none of the top guys did it. They didn't want to risk their position, but if I was like running last place and try something different. But hey, I'm not a strategist or a MotoGP rider, so I can't really comment.
I know the commentators were saying the same thing though, that the guys near the back could have taken that risk. They had nothing to lose, and perhaps a podium on the cards if it had worked out for them. But I think even then they were still getting feedback from the riders that it was still a bit sketchy in parts.
Yeah.
Maybe on the curbs as well. It might have been drying out on the tarmac, but on the curbs there might have been a little bit of standing water that could have caused issues.
Maybe just change the line to suit the dry line then.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
They obviously deemed it still too damp to risk dries. Which is odd because they were on dries for. I think they're also thinking about how it was at the beginning of the race as well, with drivers sliding off, riders sliding off, in when it was only slightly damp on the track, and they're thinking if we go out on dries in this, we get caught out for nothing. So
that is true. To be fair, well, then again, I understand why. My point still stands. If you were one of the top guys, I can understand why you didn't pit. But if you were like running last place, it may have been worth a go. I don't know.
I think so. Maybe they didn't want to show their hand to the front guys, because the thing is, it would have spiced things up if we had guys at the back pitting for drives.
Yeah.
And they were actually going quite quick. That would have spiced up the final few laps even more.
I know. Because they would be committed to it. They wouldn't be able to pit and then come out ahead. They would have been undercut big time, so they would have had to stay out. But
like Max last week against Lewis or something, where you just you're forced into a corner. But even then, they must have thought it's still too wet. Surely, otherwise they would have done it.
To be fair, yeah, I'm not criticizing. I just thought from on the TV at least, it looked like it was getting drier. That maybe somebody could have risked it. But then again, these guys are playing with their lives while we're just sitting at home being armchair experts. So, so I'm not criticizing them. I just thought maybe one of them would do it, but they didn't, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
So after waiting 5 years for his second victory, Jack Miller suddenly got his second win on a bounce, and now he's moved himself. And now he's moved himself into championship contention, which is crazy.
It shows excellent pace. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Just ran off. Kieran spoke over me again.
I know.
Of course I did.
Again!
Kieran loves the limelight.
VAR.
Doesn't he?
VAR. Mentioned to Bagnaia as well, the championship leader before the race. He made his way back up to 4th as well, I think.
Yes, he did. It looked like he was going to finish outside the point. Well, not outside the points because points go down to 15th. But it looked like he was going to finish outside the top 10 for a while, and then suddenly he just clawed it all back. I think his pace was just as good as Zarco's, to be honest.
Definitely.
So yeah, actually, well done for bringing Bagnaia's pace up because I completely forgot.
Yeah, it was quite quiet because we were watching Zarco and catching Quartararo, and then Bagnaia was just quietly working his way through, and it was in the last few laps he took 5th, and then he took 4th, and you're thinking, bloody hell, this guy's actually recovered quite well, all things considered.
Yeah,
quietly getting on with business.
I have to quick mention to Marc Marquez, such a shame for him. He was leading on his comeback, then he binned it, and then he binned it again, trying to catch everyone up again.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Hopefully he is back fighting at the front soon, but it looks like that it's not just his injury. It looks like that Honda is a horrible bike to ride compared to the other 3 manufacturers. I mean, it just looks horrible. None of them seem to be doing well apart from Marquez or Nakagami is another that keeps getting the most out of the bike as well. But it just doesn't look like a good bike to ride, to be honest, the Honda. And another one I will have to admit is also Aprilia. They both engines failed on their Aprilia bikes, which is a shame for Aleix Spargo because he was running in, I think, 4th, 5th, or 6th. I can't remember at the time, but that would have been like Aprilia's best result. And yeah,
He's
so
gutted. Absolutely gutted. Tell you what I noticed as well. It was when one of the Aprilia bikes pulled over, I think, and retired. You see the body cam on the Marshall as they're running over to the bike.
yes,
How cool was that?
yeah, MotoGP's had that for a few years. I don't know why other series don't do it.
Yeah, I was thinking, why not F1 have that? That would be wicked to have a body cam on the Marshalls recovering the car.
Or even in Formula E or another series, it would just be good to see more things from the Marshall's point of view because we couldn't. It's a fact we couldn't run our favorite racing series, whatever you watch. You couldn't run it without the Orange Army. So big up the Orange Army. We'd love to see more things from your perspective, and well done to MotoGP for doing that.
And now we move on to IndyCar for the first of 2 races in 2021 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Bit of a preview for the Indy 500 as well, but they race on the road course, and none other than Romain Grosjean, ex-F1 driver, in his 3rd race in IndyCar, put it on pole position.
Fair play to him.
The Dale Coyne Racing is absolutely unbelievable. Done it that quickly. I didn't expect that.
That is just incredible if you think about the story and everything he's gone through. Not even 6 months ago. It's just crazy. I mean, the injury to his hand is still there, and he put it on pole in only his 3rd race in Indy is amazing.
Yeah, remarkable achievement.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And had a really, really good start as well. I mean, he looked so confident. He was pulling out a really big gap. The seconds out of the guys behind who were clearly more experienced in IndyCar than him. And was just making them all look a bit silly, to be honest, in the first half of the race.
It's good to see because I in 2012, 2013, I actually rated Grosjean. Yes, he crashed a lot, but he was at one point in 2013 the only person really outside of Red Bull to take it to Vettel. So it's a shame we've not really seen that talent come through in F1 in recent years, but it's good to see that it's still there in IndyCar and who's doing so well.
Yeah, it's the first time he's had a pole position, which admittedly is extraordinary given it's happened so quickly. But if he can carry this forward throughout the season, he's going to be very well prepared for a championship challenge next year.
That's if he does the ovals, though.
Yeah, of course.
Because ovals are he's not a big fan of doing ovals because obviously he's a bit scared, which is fair enough. He's just survived death. So, but if he was doing the full season, you wouldn't count him out for. You wouldn't. You definitely put him in there for a championship challenge if he was doing the full season.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'd like to think that once he's done this season, he'll be a bit more confident behind the wheel and might feel like, you know what, I might try the ovals because I think it would be a bit soon, especially the Indy 500 coming up very soon. It would be a bit quick for him to jump straight into an event as intense as that, because it's an entirely different skill set.
Yeah, it's an entirely different racing, and there's a lot more at risk. Some drivers don't want to do ovals, some want to do only ovals. So you could just share the seat between them.
Exactly. In the case of Grosjean, I think it's Pietro Fittipaldi taking
Yeah.
that seat for the ovals. He raced at Texas, so I assume, provided he qualifies, he'll represent Dale Coyne Racing in 500.
He will do. He's their oval driver for the season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Going back to the race, obviously Grosjean was looking to be the favourite for the win. Really, he was pulling out a real gap. But then we had there was some reports of threats of rain, which could have complicated the strategy a little bit. but it didn't really materialise in the end, to be honest. And it was
He stayed
VK.
out too long.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it really benefited VK, who didn't need to pit again towards the end of the race. Pit stop done a little earlier, and as a result, was able to carry it through and take the victory.
Which is pretty cool because it was his first victory, and it's 5 years to the day that Max Verstappen won his first Formula One race. So 5 years later, Reynolds VK wins his first IndyCar race. So that's pretty cool if you think about it like that. Fellow Dutchman.
Exactly.
You got to feel for Jack Harvey though. He was in the mix as well, and then he had a horrible pit stop, and he got a puncture from it as well. So that's a real shame for him because I reckon he was in the mix as well.
It was Palou and actually, Grosjean took second though. He did hold on to get that first podium in IndyCar as well.
Yeah, so pole and your first podium in only your third race is pretty amazing job, to be honest. So I think, and Grosjean posted that photo of his Instagram with his hand injury, and then the trophy he's got round it.
Yeah, that's a powerful picture.
That is a powerful picture. I can't even begin to process what he's been through, and he's just suddenly on the podium in only his third race in a new racing series.
Mm.
Lots of people said that it just shows that how low IndyCar is because Grosjean can win in it, and I'm just like, that's not very good. I think the IndyCar drivers, along with Formula E drivers, are some of the best drivers outside of Formula One, and I reckon if some F1 drivers came in, they'd struggle. I mean, Fernando Alonso, he's not finished an IndyCar race yet.
Mm.
Look at Ericsson. He wasn't getting pole positions and podiums in his first few races in car.
But he did get a podium. He did get a podium in I think his 7th race, but I don't think he's had a result since then.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what the next few races bring for Grosjean, to be honest. See whether he can hold this form, whether or not he can grab another podium or two throughout the season. That would really solidify.
I think
that
he can.
Kind of, we don't want people thinking, he's just good at Indianapolis, which is fine. You don't want thinking, it's just the circuit. We want to see that he's building on this experience and he actually carries it through and gets more good results.
Well, don't forget, all these tracks will be new to him. All of them will be new to him.
Yeah.
As well as any new driver coming from Europe to race in IndyCar. So, if you're a rookie coming from Europe to race in IndyCar, I think you're doing a stellar job because all the tracks will be new to you. This is why IndyCar drivers don't go to F1 because F1 teams say, but they don't know the tracks and all that. Well, F1 drivers go to IndyCar, they have to learn the tracks and are just competitive. So, I think it kind of rules that argument out a bit about IndyCar drivers not getting to F1. If they're good enough, they should learn the track when they practice, and they should be okay. Because Grosjean, I don't think, has been to Indy before, and next thing you know, he puts it on pole.
In other news,
McLaren is my babe, and they did a sexy thing. They did a good thing. They did a thing, a non-annoying thing for once. They did a beautiful, sexy little Golf McLaren livery.
Oh
didn't
my
they?
god, it looks fucking amazing.
It's so beautiful.
Let's go and have a lie down.
I really wish
I had to lay down as well. Yeah.
I really wish that was a permanent livery because it just looks so amazing. It's a throwback to one of their cars that they raced at Le Mans, and it's only a one-off for Monaco, but it just looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a one-off. It looks like it's been really well thought out. I know it's a Golf livery and it does look good on almost everything, but it does look really well designed. And I wish everyone else does. wish it was on the car for the rest of the season, if not all of it, because it looks spectacular.
What I'd say is that it's probably their best livery since Vodafone McLaren Mercedes livery. I think,
I'd say
personally.
best since the Marlboro McLaren.
Oh, you're going that far? Nice.
Yeah, I'll go that far back.
I'd agree with James. There's something about the chrome, silver, and red McLaren, the early 2000s spot on. But there's some, you can't beat a Golf livery. You just can't.
No.
It is right up there.
I hope the fans just say to McLaren, "Oh, it's so good. Please keep it on for the rest of the season," and then never know, they might do.
Imagine that round Singapore in the dark.
Oh my god!
Goodness.
I'm just having orgasms
Imagine-
about it.
Imagine it on the F1 game.
Yes, Cody,
Oh.
bring it to the F1 game.
Yes,
Come on.
exactly. Yeah.
We need that.
Oh
Come
my
on,
God.
Cody. Make it a classic car if it can't be
Special
an actual
edition
car.
one. Yeah.
Make it a classic car and just all you have to do is
so
copy
beautiful.
and paste the McLaren Golf livery. All you have to do is copy and paste the McLaren to race in the classics, and then just put the Golf livery on that.
Yeah.
Job done.
Easy. Come on, Codemasters.
To that end, they need to add the testing livery as well, I reckon. You know where Red Bull would have the camo liveries? Why can't they put those
the
in?
camouflage.
And then have the option to race with either the testing one or the main one. And then same with the McLaren one, you get to race with the normal or the Golf one.
Yeah,
Never see
fair
it on
enough.
McLaren again.
The player's out. Player's out.
Golf.
Oh, it's just so good.
Yeah. Real surprise, to be honest, just come out of nowhere. I knew that they were saying there was an announcement.
So hidden. Yeah. I was thinking, it'd just be another sponsor coming in. And you're watching the video on the premiere on YouTube, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, I thought it was going to be a Formula E announcement because they had announced earlier in the year their intention to possibly race in Formula E in the future. I thought it might potentially be a Formula E announcement, but it wasn't. But it's the next best thing for me. But that livery, I really hope it can stay. It's just whether or not Golf would want to pay the money to have their spots all over the car. I think that's got to be another issue. I guess it's not as easy as say, oh, we just keep it on for the rest of the season because the fans like it. Golf would probably have to pay their fair share to have that livery on the car. Yeah,
They'll be getting feedback off this and realise that people are after this. A lot more than
Imagine
Papaya.
that car winning.
Golf McLaren in 2022 winning champion.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'll never get bored of looking at that car.
No.
Never.
It's just how quickly they've turned up the whole livery design thing at McLaren. It used to be terrible when they first brought Honda in. And now it's just...
Well, I think...
chrome attempt.
Well, I think now that Zach Brown has basically come in, he's building the team up again. And they open to doing more creative liveries because they're doing well again. I think
Zach Brown cares more about the heritage of McLaren.
Yes, he does.
It strayed from that under Ron Dennis a bit.
100%.
Now Zach Brown, but he's bringing what McLaren is back.
Yes.
He's bringing Bruce back into McLaren.
And that's what I like. I think because like McLaren went a bit off their roots, like you say, and it's like they're coming back to it now, and this is amazing. And there's talk of them potentially joining WEC, which
that's
they
what
used to
I thought
race
the
in.
announcement was.
Yeah. So
when he's in the Le Mans car and that, I think, they're going back to Le Mans.
So there's talk of them doing that. Obviously, it would be great to also see him in Formula E. But imagine that in 4 of the world's best racing series, Formula 1, World Endurance Championship, Formula E, Indycar. I think under the potential of Zach Brown, that could happen. So
Yeah.
it's like keeping McLaren's heritage, but also looking to the future.
Perfect balance going. And to be fair, he is a classic car and motorsport enthusiast, isn't he? He collects classic cars.
Yes, he does.
So it's not surprising that he's trying to preserve McLaren's heritage with his strategy.
Just want a quick mention about WRC2, because WRC is returning this weekend in Rally Portugal. Championship leader Andreas Mikkelsen has unfortunately caught COVID-19, so he will not be taking part, which isn't good for his championship hopes. But more importantly, we hope you get well soon, Andreas, and are fighting back on the stages in time for Sardinia. And in Formula 2, just as we're recording this, breaking news, GT World Challenge driver Jack Aitken will be racing in Formula 2 in Monaco and Baku. Nannini, who was racing in F2 and F3 this season, one of his major sponsors, has pulled out, and he will not be racing in F2 for the rest of the season, but he still will be racing in F3. So, yeah.
Get well soon, Andreas, and best of luck, Jack Aitken.
Oh, and good luck, Michael. And good luck, Michael Crease, on your Porsche Super Cup debut in Monaco this weekend.
So, guys, that just about wraps up things here. And next week we'll be back with the Monaco Grand Prix in Formula 1.
Yay!
And WRC in sunny Portugal. So make sure you join us in a week's time, just under a week's time, actually. We're a little late, but better late than never, right? Make sure. I hope you enjoyed it, first of all.
Yeah.
Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you're new.
And hit that bell.
Hit the bell.
Ding fucking ding.
Ding ding dong. Sorry, that was classic last week.
Hashtag throwback.
Yeah.
So thank you all for watching. We'll see you in a week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.